Mark from ShelMark Sales again, also known as SMPostcards. Today we are going to go over what postcards sold on eBay and Etsy. I'm going to go through and show you what the card is, the front and back, what it's sold for, and where it's sold to. And also, during the video, I'm going to talk about some of the things that we do to protect our data and our business. eBay had a little glitch going over last weekend, and it kind of brought to mind some of the things we do to prepare for that. And I have multiple years, over 25 years in the technical field. I was an IT manager for a major utility company in the United States for over 20 years. So I do have a little bit of experience in that part, so I would like to share some of that with you about the middle of the video. But for people that haven't been in one of these videos, I'll show you the card, and then in between I'll pack the card up and I'll cut that out of the video so you don't see me putting it in the envelope and putting labels on there. You don't need to see that. So we've had 14 cards sold on eBay and 2 on Etsy and 0 on HIP. So to break it down, eBay is usually 80% of our sales, Etsy 15%, and HIP 5%, give or take some rounding. So, but today we have 16 cards. So let's go ahead and get started on the cards that sold on eBay. So the first card that sold, I just listed yesterday. It's from Walt Disney World, Epcot Center, Future World, and World Showcase. It's an air view of Walt Disney World Epcot Center. It looks like it came out of a souvenir pack because it's got perforations on the end where they tore it out of the book. But anytime I get any Disney, Walt Disney World, Disneyland, California, Florida, I always mark those up a little bit. This one sold for $6.71 and it's being shipped to Virginia, but it is an unposted card and it says Epcot Center right in the top. But in the background you can see Spaceship Earth right back here and some of the other things. So whenever you see Disney cards, they will sell. Disney always sells. So the next card that sold is a Chrome card of Aquarius Motor Inn, Wildwood, New Jersey. It's kind of a collage of different pictures. You got some people standing there in a swimsuit. You got a picture of the room. If you can look in there, that's one of those older TVs. So I'd probably say this is a 50s, 60s card. You got the swimming pool, you got the building. It's an unposted card, Chrome card, good condition. I don't see a lot of scratches. Got a little dent in the front, but someone probably stayed there sometime or another. But all the motor inns, lodges back in the day when families traveled, you can tell by the decorations kind of retro. So it's a feel that some people are trying to make today, but it's already done. This card sold for $4.45 in Golden Meadows, New York. It sold is actually from San Francisco Golden Gate Park. It's the Portals of the Past. You can see the portal right there. It's a Chrome card, not posted. Very nice card, well kept, no scratches. The card stock's good and everything. We spent a week out in San Francisco. We stayed at an Airbnb in Nob Hill, so we actually walked all over Golden Gate Park and we saw this out there. I think this is what we saw. We saw so much that week, but that's a Chrome card. And this card sold for $4.45 and it's actually being sent to San Francisco, California. Now remember, the goal of these videos is to show you the wide variety of cards that sell, so when you're out looking for cards to pick up the resale or for your collection, you can see what the hot items are. And we have a wide range of Chrome, linen, and divided back. We do have some undivided backs, a couple RPPCs, but mostly Chrome, linen, and divided back is the model that we go after, our niche that we go into. So the next card is called the Clarion Tower. It's actually on the University of Wisconsin campus. It's a tower there. It's in Madison, Wisconsin. And they say usually in the good weather they have classes. They'll meet outside along the base there. But anytime I have any kind of university, I always make sure that we put that in the title. This one we didn't. I don't know the reason why, we just missed it. But it's still sold. But anytime you get a university, and you'll see a couple other cards for universities that we did, but that's a nice Chrome card, stands vertically. Anybody that went to that university, and I don't see any people around it, but it has a really nice view on there. So this card sold for $4.45, and it's going to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now I got some updates on some more feedback from the eBay standard envelope. People are still saying that the scans aren't happening. One guy, if you look in the comments of that video, one guy had like 40 Pokemon cards and only 2 of them got scanned, and he talked to eBay and he felt they were giving him a runaround. So actually what I've been doing is listen some more trading cards, because postcards are not part of the eBay standard envelope program right now. So I've been putting some Babylon 5 trading cards. I had some Bozo trading cards, and I got a pack of Andy Griffith Show. I have sold 3 of those, and all of those have tracking. And then I also have the garbage pail sticker cards. So I had some packs of trading cards as well, just to try to give me some trading cards so I can use that standard envelope. So I went out and bought some single sets of these, and maybe I'll sell a good dozen and see what it does. But that's what I'm getting back from feedback from that program. And there is some other feedback on the channels, Facebook and stuff like that, talking about the scans. Now, some people say they're not using, they went back to stamps. I will probably still use it even if it doesn't get the scans, because one, very small savings, 4 cents an envelope instead of 55 cents, but it also saves some steps, and there is a chance it would get a scan to do delivered and say delivered on the scan. So I really don't lose anything by not using it, but I would lose that part of it just in case. But I think they're probably going to work the bugs out of it. The scanning part is on the barcode of the, this is an actual one that made it through the mail. Right across here is that barcode, and now the agents don't scan that or anything. The sorting machines is what I'm told scan that little barcode, and if those sorting machines don't get it, or the card gets kicked out the manual thing, then it doesn't get that scanning, is what people are telling me. So not for sure what's going on, but I'm glad they're working on a small trading card area before they roll it out to everything. But I'll probably end up using it no matter what. I have been stocking up on some 4x6 labels that go through my Rollo thermal label, so put it on there. And there has been a couple times where I sold some trading cards and I forgot that that program's there, because I just don't use it as often right now. So, but keep an eye on it. Look in the description of that video on our thing. That's where I'm updating anything, or the comments. And check the other YouTube videos that are coming out on people that are doing the sports cards, that are really using the program a lot more than I am. And you'll get a good feel of what's going on. I trust people when they tell me feedback. I'm just a person that needs to verify it as well. That's why I'm trying to do it myself. So the next card that's sold is another university card. This is Ohio State University Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. You can see the stadium right there, and there's the river running down. It's a chrome card. I just listed this yesterday, and I did put in the title description, postcard Ohio State University Stadium, Columbus. I didn't put Columbus, Ohio, because I already had Ohio State University, so I already had Ohio in the title. So sometimes I try not to use the same word in there. This is less typing, makes it faster. I don't think it hurts to put Columbus, Ohio at the end, but why type 4 more letters when you don't have to? But this is not posted, but it does have the flea market or antique store booth writing on there. It says 50 cents TAZ. Like I said before in the past videos, I don't take those off. I just leave whatever's on the card on there, because I don't want to smudge it up. It is what it is. So, but that card is a nice card. Probably someone that went there. I'm not for sure if the stadium is still there or not. Some stadiums have been redone. So I think I posted a Dallas Cowboy one from the stadium yesterday as well. I had a lot of stadiums yesterday when I was listing. This card sold for $4.45, and it's going to Grove City, Ohio. Okay, so the next one that sold is the Main Street in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I would say this is about the 50s or 60s. There's some cars down here. Cars usually help me date it. I'm not a car person, but sometimes just seeing the size of the car and the type of car can kind of tell me. So I think it's the 50s. They say it's one of the cleanest and widest thoroughfares in the world. And I also read on some stuff on Salt Lake City, they said the streets are so wide is because when they built it, they wanted to be able to turn a horse and wagon, do a U-turn on the street, is why they're so wide there in Utah. But I've driven through Utah and I've done some work there in some of the places in there. But that's a nice picture of the Utah. It's got some mountains in the back there, of course. Where I live in Illinois, we don't have mountains. We just have flat land. But it's an unposted chrome card. And this sold for $4, so it was an offer, 10% offer sent to a buyer that it was a watcher on the card, and it's going to Bremerton, Washington. So we constantly send out offers all the time. Now, one of the things you might want to do to see what other sellers are doing that you can do is go out there and take like 12 cards on eBay and just watch the cards. You don't have to buy them, just watch them and see how fast those offers come into you. I've been doing some things. We got some real cool stuff coming in later in a couple months probably, or maybe sooner, for this channel. And we've been doing a lot of postcard buying and doing some things like that to get things ready. We're not quite there yet. We're still getting our sea legs on this YouTube stuff. So, but we got some really cool things planned. So we went out and I watched a bunch of cards. I'm looking for certain cards, and boom! I mean, it was like an hour later, just a lot of offers coming in, 25% off, 10% off. So, and also buy some cards from other sellers. So, when we started Postcards, I wasn't too sure all the intricacies about shipping and how they're packing them. So I would go out and buy a lot of cards, from buyers, some of the bigger sellers. They're way bigger than I am, and even small sellers. I would get envelopes come into the mailbox, and I would open them up and see how they're packaging them. Some I didn't like, some was okay, some were really good, and so I took up bits and pieces from each one. How they stamp their cards, how they do that. Some people still write handwriting on, stuff like that. Some came in plain white envelopes, no protection. Some came in these photo mailers that we use. Just different things, so I was able to see and pick what I wanted out of each one. Not saying anything's wrong or good or bad, but you want to pick the best out of what you can. So that's a recommendation, is go out and watch some postcards and see how fast those offers come in, and buy some postcards. You don't have to buy the high-end cards. Oh, and there was one card I bought. It was the nastiest card I ever saw. It was one of the biggest sellers on eBay, and I could not believe that they put this card up there. It was just like torn up, glue spots, ink smudges, and they wanted like $2 for this card plus $1 shipping. I said, I want to see if they're going to actually ship me this card, because I would not even put that up. I would probably, that card isn't even worth bringing to the flea market. And I did get that card, and so I was just amazed that they would send me that card. So that was one of the rules, is if it's a bad card, we're not going to list it no matter how good the picture is on there, because it's just not what the value that we want to do. We stand behind everything we sell, and I could just not stand behind posting. I mean, it had some real thick paper glue spots on the back. You couldn't even hardly see the picture on the front. It was just amazing that they did ship that card. That's probably why it was $2. But that was just, I wasn't real happy with that one. But I didn't say anything. I bought it. I knew what it was, and I think I shredded it afterwards. Next card sold is a unique card in our store. Now, in our store, we use categories. A lot of people that have eBay stores don't use the categories. They just let the system do it. What we did is we went out and looked at the big sites, small sites. Like I said, we looked at a lot of different things on how to set this up, and we probably redid it a few times until we finally set. But I went out and got a list of all the states and the District of Columbia. I only have one category for international because I don't do a lot of those. We have a trading card. But what that does for me is I can actually, buyer also, when a buyer comes in, they can go to our, if you go to SMPostcards.com, it'll bring you right into our eBay store. And you'll see the store, and on the left side, you'll see all the states and all the categories we got. So if you're from South Carolina and that's what you're looking for, you can click on there. You don't have to look through, you know, 17,000 cards to find stuff. So I think it does help. There is one seller out there that actually uses it when he sets the categories up for himself. He puts dates in there, like the last 6 months, the 3 months, when he bought the item, so he can go and put those on sale. That, to me, that kind of defeats the purpose. This is for the buyer. This is for people buying the cards, not really for us. But it does help us as sellers, because I can go through and look at each category. And this is one card, and this card is Tower River, Alaska. So it's a river in Alaska. I know I don't have a lot of Alaska cards because I can look in the Alaska category and see maybe I got 10 cards. But if I go down to Washington, D.C., I might have 500 cards. So when I'm out looking around, I try to keep my categories full. I always look for Alaska, Hawaii, South Dakota, North Dakota, Utah. Those are the ones, Wyoming, some of those. Minnesota is another one. Michigan, Illinois. Those are my lower ones that I don't have a lot in, so I'm always looking for those. And how did I determine that? I looked at my categories, and I can actually go through each one real quick and see it. So if you want to take a look at that, SMPostcards.com will take you right into our eBay store, and you'll see the categories. And they're real easy to set up. And you go to the Seller Hub, and you go down to Manage Store, and then it says Categories, or in the Help you can put Categories. And then you can put subcategories. So like in trading cards, I have one category, trading card, then underneath that I got Babylon 5, Bozo, and different things like that. So people know that's not a postcard, it's a trading card. So, but this is the river in Alaska. It is posted 1957 on there. It's got 2 1-cent stamps on it. And this card sold for $4.45. And it is going to Moorestown, New Jersey. Okay, the next card that's sold, and I've actually sold a lot of tramways. This one is from Cannon Mountain Tramway, Franconia Notch, New Hampshire. So you can see the tram right there. We went out to New Mexico a couple of years ago. We usually do that. We go to a city and spend a week walking around. We went up to the San Maria, I think, or Andy. I'm not for sure what it was, but we went up to St. Andes, the Andes Mountains, I think. And we rode the tramway up and down. It was pretty cool on there with that. So this is a chrome card, not posted, and this card actually sold for $4.45, and it's actually going to Franconia, New Hampshire. So someone there once maybe took the tram ride up there and they want the card. People haven't seen the other videos that I've done. What I do in between here, I kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm actually packing up the postcards to put in the mailbox while I do the video. And what I do is I got some pre-stamped envelopes with the 55-cent stamp, and I have a ink stamp with my return P.O. box, so if it comes back, and I got the address covered up right here, but I have a Dymo label. I actually use the copy button on the shipping page in eBay and copy it to a Dymo label, and I put a permanent label on there with the address to where it's going. But also on the back, we have an ink stamp, and we stamp our store on here for a little bit of marketing. So people have got to open up, they see your store. So some people put stuff inside envelopes, business cards and stuff like that. But for $15 or $20, you can get a stamp. A heck of a lot cheaper than putting a card in there. And most of the time people throw them away or lose them. But at least they get a shot of the SM postcards on there. So I recommend some stamps if you're going to do a lot of postcards. It saves a lot of time. But that's what I do in between when I'm cutting it out. Okay, the next one that sold is also of a university. This is one I posted yesterday. Remember I said I had a lot of university cards. This is Clemson Memorial Stadium, Clemson University, Clemson, South Carolina. So you can see the football field down there in the stadium. But I just listed this yesterday with a bunch of cards. It's unposted chrome card. And in the title, I actually put Clemson Memorial Stadium, Clemson University, South Carolina. So I did use Clemson twice because that's the name of the stadium and also the university. So that might have triggered some eBay searches. So people saw that and they went and picked up the card. So this card sold for $4, so it was an offer that we sent to a buyer. and they accepted the offer. They probably had it on their watch list, and kind of like going fishing. You send them a offer and they'll bite. And this is actually going to be shipped to Greenville, South Carolina. In just a minute, I got about 3 more cards to do on eBay, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about, I got some bullet points here about what I heard about the eBay glitch a little bit, and how it affected me and what I did, and also some of the things we do to think about for protecting your data, your business. As you grow, your postcard business, or any, like we do action figures and toys and postcards, and we got, you know, over 20,000 listings, so that's a lot of work, a lot of years of work we don't want to lose. So how do you back that up safely, and what is the cost to your business? So I'll go through those bullet points in a minute. This card that sold is a linen card. It's kind of like a chalky look to it. It's like an artist drawing kind of card, but it's got not a real, it's kind of a smoother feel of a linen, but it's a linen. This is La Fonda Hotel in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So it's a nice corner shot. Not sure of the date, but the cards in there are some older cards that they drew in there, and unposted. So it's a nice solid card. The card stock is kind of different. It's really nice. It's going to stand up to the test of time. So this card sold for $4, so that was an offer to a buyer, and it's going to Metairie, Louisiana. So the next card is another university card. Now, even though I don't condone any actions or have too many opinions about things that are happening in the society, I don't bring it into the business. But this is stuff, doesn't mean I condone it because I sell it, but they had some, the Indian name, like Redskins and stuff like that, you know, which people have different opinions on. This is a Chief Linowick from the University of Illinois, and that's him right there. That was the mascot for Chief Linowick, and I think he is no longer a mascot because of the they took it out of it. It was just not politically correct. But I saw that card, and I don't see too many pictures of him that often, but people that went to that school know of him, and they like to have a little bit of memory of it. Not that they condone that, but it was just part of the history that needs to be preserved so we don't repeat the same things. But this card I actually did price up, and it sold for $12.45. I probably could have got some more money for it. I am from Illinois, and I know about the University of Illinois, but I figured I wanted a quick sale, so I priced it, I think, at $12.95, and with an offer I got $12.45 for that card. So, but there is some cards you can't list, like Confederate flags and stuff like that, and I don't get in Black Americana and stuff like that. That stuff I don't list. I don't list any risque stuff. I actually had a picture of a baby that was unclothed going across there. I didn't even list that. I don't get into any of that. I have morals. If I don't like what I see on the card, it goes in the box or the shredder. It's just something I don't want to put in our store of any of that risk or stuff like that. It caused any problems. And I've had a few people contact me and ask me if it's right to sell that card, and I looked at the card closer and I said, oh yeah, you're absolutely correct. I'm sorry. I missed that. I didn't see something in the background or something. So be open to people with their opinions on things on there. And I don't get into a verbal war. It's a conversation I really don't want to have, and I don't want to mix my personal feelings with the business. But there is people out there that are offended by some things. So you want to be careful on what you post. But 99% of the cards you have are not offensive. This one is more of a history thing with a school and a mascot, and they did the right thing by removing them, they believe. So it's just part of history on there. So if you see anything like that, always check the rules and make sure it's right before you put it up, because eBay could take it down and give you a strike on it or whatever, like the Confederate flag ones. So this is actually, sold for $12.45, and it's going to Godfrey, Illinois, which is just west of me. Okay, we just got 3 more to do on eBay, and then I'll get into the little bullet points I got. So the next card that's sold is a bakery and chow hall at Fort Wilkins State Park Copper Harbor, Michigan. So this is the chow hall at the Fort Wilkins. It's a chrome card, and it's got the bottom where all the bowls are on the shelves that they can pick up, and then the tables that they actually sit at. So it's like a collage of two views on the card, and it is unposted chrome card. Not a lot of scratches. It looks like it was in an album, but there's really no tanning on it. I would say it's from the 40s or 50s or 60s card, maybe 70s on there. But this card actually sold for $4.45, and it's going to Lehigh Acres, Florida. So the next card sold is another Skylift or Tramway. This one is called Starting the Return Trip on Skylift, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So this is in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and you can see the gentleman there is putting the person on the Skylift. So they're just starting off on there. It's an unposted chrome card, and that's how they're going down the mountains there in Gatlinburg. We stopped there. We took a helicopter ride in Gatlinburg one time years ago with the kids. The helicopter had one of those clear cabins, so you can actually see a big bubble, and yeah, it was real fun. But that's what that one is. That sold for $4, so that was a offer to a buyer, and that's going to Arnold, Missouri. That sold is a divided back card. We don't, we tend to stay in chrome linens and divided back, but we do get these in the lots that we buy from estate sales and stuff like this. This one is of Independence Hall, Philadelphia. So I spent a lot of time in Philadelphia. I flew there every other week. We had an office there for the company, and so every other week I was in Philadelphia, so I got to learn a lot about it on there. But that's a card, so with the undivided back, all the messages need to be written on the front. So they wrote right here, and only the address should have been on the back. And this was actually posted in 1906 in Camden, New Jersey. So that's right over the border, river from on there. But that's a nice card. The card stock is real light, but if you notice, it doesn't have a lot of tanning. So that's really good. It was probably in a book or something that didn't have that acid stuff on there. So not a bad card. It did bleed through a little bit on the postmarks they use, but the writing says, "My photo hangs there." So maybe someone's got a photo in that place, and it actually just says Miss Mary Healy, whatever town, Delaware, no zip code. So I guess that interesting when I see things like that, and it's got a 1-cent stamp on it. So, but this card sold for $4.45, and it's going to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So it's going back home to where it should go. Okay, so that's all the postcards for eBay. That was 14 cards, and the total was $75. Give a little bit of rounding, but $75 for 14 cards that we've sold, and I'll probably sell more today as we go through, but everything's right here. So now I want to talk a little bit about protecting your business, protecting your data, protecting everything. So I have over 25 years experience in the IT world, probably a little bit more. As an IT manager, I was a field engineer. I've worked internationally, Europe, everywhere, installing systems, training technicians, and I was an IT manager for the largest utility in the country, in multiple offices and places to engineering and operations. So we maintain thousands of servers, mainframes, network equipment, alerts, alarms, change control processes, root cause analysis, working with vendors, and different things like that. We had internal operations, and we had other vendors that had stuff that links to us that we constantly had to work on. So I do have some experience understanding that. So eBay had an issue, I think it was last weekend, where I was looking through my data, and I always look at my data every morning, and I noticed that I had 1,500 listings ending in eBay, and I'm sitting there, how could that have 1,500 postcard listings end in one day? So it was in the back of my mind, maybe it just didn't update the forum on Seller Hub. Then I looked over on my laptop that I keep the my buyer's account for eBay and my store, so I know I didn't flip any pictures. That I do a little quality check every time I list a bunch of cards. And I noticed the listings were going down. From 16,000 listings, I was down to 15,500 and were dropping. I said, this isn't right, so I just said, okay, let's see if it updates. So I gave it an hour or so, and it was still going. And I went out onto Facebook and eBay, and I noticed some people were talking about the same thing. So something happened where eBay was dropping listings and stuff like that. In the back of my mind, I said, okay, something happened at one data center. They're transferring data from another data center, so it's going to take a little bit of time. And they said it would recover in 24 or 48 hours. All my stuff turned back to normal within 12 hours. So did I lose some sales? I don't know. Maybe it was just an appearance thing. Some people said they lost sales. But I just wanted to bring that up, that was just a shot over a bow again of what you need to do. And I'm going to talk about what we do, and whatever you want to do. I like opinions, but I don't force opinions on people. I don't like when people force opinions on me. So I try to be neutral. So what we do to protect our data. So one of the first things we do is two-factor authentication. Any site that I can log into that has two-factor is you have your username and you have your password. And then when you log in, it sends a code to your phone, iPad, or somewhere that you can get that code to put it in. And in the security world, what that means is something you know, password, and something you have is your phone. And that you got to have that phone to log in. And plus you get notified then too that someone's logging into your account. So anywhere you have two-factor authentication, I recommend you turn it on. Yeah, it can be a little bit of a pain, but that's what it is. Passwords. Everybody knows about passwords. Don't use password as password and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Change your passwords. I have probably 60, 70 accounts now that I log into with all this stuff, over years. I keep all that handwritten. I don't have it online. But I don't go in and change them all at once. I might change 3 a week, so on a rolling basis. So I'll change, all of eBay, but they're not all the same password. And you want to make sure it's something that's harder, 8 characters or more in there. But you don't want to do something where you have to write a book to get into, but you want to be secure. But so your passwords, and you want to keep them somewhere you can get them. There's backup codes for like Google and stuff like that. You want to be careful with that. Logging in, using Facebook, you want to have separate passwords. Everything is what I recommend. And another thing we do is we back up our data. So we use a company, Carbonite. I don't get any affiliate money or anything for that, but I like Carbonite. It backs up in the background. You just load it on your computer. It'll go out and find all your files. And after I save a file, most of the time, by the time I get to it, it's already backed back up. I've only had to recover a few files, maybe 6 to a dozen files in the last 3 or 4 years. But I'm glad I had it, because one of the files got corrupted, and I really needed that data. I could have redid it, but it would have took a while. But it was there, and I pay a yearly subscription. I also use it for my wife. She does Braille translating. She works at a high school, and they'll do textbooks, and she'll translate that into Braille for the vision impaired people, and that's a lot of work. And she was backing up to a flash drive and stuff like that, and I just felt more comfortable when she got her new laptop that we put Carbonite on there as well. So now all her book and all her work, as long as she's connected to the internet, Wi-Fi, it will be backed up, and that's a yearly subscription. So Carbonite has worked well for us. And it's more of a disaster, like a major medical plan. It's more when something big happens, like I lose all my data on here. I also use OneDrive from Microsoft, and they have a personal vault now where I put some stuff in there. No, I don't put any personal data out there, but to get into that part of the OneDrive, they have to send a code to my phone for me to get in there. So, but there's really, that's where I put my pictures and stuff like that. So, and also make sure your virus protection is up to date. Always take the signature updates, and then make sure your Microsoft or Apple, you take the updates as they send them down, because they have security fixes in there. And also, one of the things is equipment backup. I do have an extra thermal or a label printer or Dymo to do addresses for postcards. I have an extra laptop and another small PC that can run my business. I keep up to date. Do that. I can get a shipping scale within you know, I can go over to the store and get a shipping scale, not that big of a deal. I have another printer I can print labels on in case my Rolo printer goes out. So you want to think about your main items that you can use. I broke my tape gun the other day to wrap tape on there. I ordered another one, it'd be 3 days. I just used a pair of scissors to cut the tape until I got it back. So that tells you how small you can think about it and how big. But you always want, there's a detrimental cost to it. You don't want to redo everything unless you're a multi-million-dollar big business. I'm just a small reseller selling postcards and toys on eBay and Etsy and HIP. So I don't have a server farm and all that. It's just more stuff to maintain. But I do keep up with what we have. So things will happen. From my experience, things will happen. It's not if they'll happen, it's when and how bad and how prepared you are. So always think about it. If you got a spreadsheet with all your postcards on it and all your sales costs, and you haven't saved that file with a new date, a new version, and you haven't taken it off your computer, put it somewhere else, you might want to do that, because the first time you lose that file, you're going to wish you didn't. So, and being in this business for years, backups are important, and you got to verify those backups. So you got to make sure that, you know, you have multiple of those. So, and you want to have them off site. So if you're storing them on a flash drive and you got a storage unit, just put an envelope over there, encrypt the flash drive. That way your data is off site. So if something happens to your house, don't store your inventory around water or anything like that. Now, we do also carry a business insurance policy. So it covers all my inventory, what I paid for it, not what it would sell for. So if I pay a penny, and I say I got, you know, 100 postcards and I paid a penny, that's all I'm going to get for it. So it'd be a start to get back, but it also pays for if anybody hacks in, stuff like that, or if something I sell hurts somebody. Most of the stuff I sell are made by manufacturers, so I just need the litigation, the cost of the litigation to get me out of that. Instead of fighting the whole company. It's not my fault that that toy broke. It's going to be more on the manufacturer that I bought it from. So I just need the litigation, and that can be tens of thousands of dollars to get out of there. So that's what the business insurance is more for, is to keep you legal. But that doesn't mean you don't do it. Like car insurance. If you have car insurance, it doesn't mean you go out and drive crazy just because you have insurance. You still got to do your part, is what I understand, the way I feel. So if you're doing your part and you have that major medical plan, that insurance in the background, you can sleep at night. So, and business insurance isn't that expensive for resellers. Now, selling postcards is probably not that problem, but when I sell at the flea market, if someone trips by my stand, stuff like that, and I don't, even though I'm an electronic technician and a technical manager, I don't sell electronics. I just don't want to do that anymore. I can fix them and stuff like that, but I don't sell electronics. Will I pass up a good deal? Probably not, but I don't rewire stuff and like that. I don't want to get into that. So a lot of people make a lot of money on that though. But maybe one day I'll get back into it, but I thought I would take a break from that. So, okay, well, let's get on to Etsy postcards and see what we have with that. I hope that helps. With that, if there's any questions about technology, just send me a message. I probably know, or I know someone, or I know where I can get the information for you on certain things, and just some recommendations from past experiences. So the first card that sold on Etsy was a international card. It's Vienna Castle Gate. I'm not for sure where it's at, but it's got the, oh god, I forgot what they call it. The rigid cut on the side there. It's unposted. It does have some glue spots from a book in there, but wine burglar. But inside there, you can see some of the European cards inside the gate. So it looks like a castle gate or something. But somebody knew what this was, and they bought it. I don't remember, and the number on the inventory is a newer number, so it's going to, they paid $4.45 for it, and it is going to Federal Way, Washington. So I actually don't remember this card on there, so, but that's where that one's going. And the last card that sold on Etsy was a Mountain Lions. This was a white border card, and I'll see if I can. So there's a mountain lion, there's a mountain lion. So it's mountain lions in the trees. White border card, and it just says number 32 mountain lions on the bottom here. It's not in the best shape. There is some scratching. It's a little worn on there, but I thought it was pretty cool. Let's see if you can see the lions up there on there. It's not posted on there, but it is a white border card. I actually know for that one for sure. So, but it looks like one's resting and one is kind of putting his hand over there, and he kind of spotted the guy taking the picture, so hope he was okay. But and all I did was in the title, Postcard Mountain Lions, Montana. And how did I find Montana? On the back here where the card was made said Montana right there, so I kind of figured maybe this was a Montana card. Sometimes that's not correct, because cards made in New York or Germany of the United States is not that, but I kind of figured Mountain Lions, Montana. I put the two together, and so it is. Now I do get a lot of people sometimes tell me, hey, that's not in New York, or that's not in Oregon, this is over here. I love it when buyers come in and tell me I got the wrong place on a postcard. I don't get offended by that at all. I go out there, I check, double check to make sure they got it right as well, and if they do, I send it back, hey, thanks, I'll fix, and you know, I get a thumbs up or something like that back. And I've actually made some nice relationships with some people. They say, wow, you didn't yell at me for this. Other people yell at. I said, no. I said, more eyes on this. I can flip a picture. I'm very cautious about when I put pictures out there. I orientate them right. But sometimes you will miss, and someone will tell you that, or you got the wrong picture on the wrong card. When you're doing a lot of listings, sometimes you can make mistakes. So they call it critical feedback. Take it with, you know, pleasure that someone's trying to help you out. Now, some cards, I did have one card, the guy said it was this mountain, but the card said it was that mountain. I had to stick with what the card said. I thanked him for it. I said, but I got to go with the card. I did put a note in there, feedback from a buyer saying that the card is incorrect. Please check before buying. I didn't want to go against that, and I didn't want to go against him, but he understood, and I think he ended up buying the card. So, while I'm doing all the eBay and Etsy postcards, I did sell one on HIP. So this is John F. Kennedy's grave right there. That's I put up multiple different things of John F. Kennedy that have sold. So, but that's the grave. It's a chrome card. It looks like it came out of a. No, it didn't. There's just a little bit of roughness on the top edge. I thought it would come out of a souvenir book, but that's the John F. Kennedy thing. I did sell it on HIP. Now remember what HIP, if you're selling on eBay and you got if you're getting up in cards, go look at SMPostcard.com. There's HIP comics, HIP stamps, and there's HIP postcard. It's HIP and the word postcard.com. A lot of sellers will only buy on HIP because it's been there for a while. It's a niche site. Me and some other people, I kind of agree with them that these little niche sites are going to really take off in the next 3 to 4 years. Is where it's going to be. The big boys like eBay will always be there, but the little sites, you don't sell as much on these sites, but the cost and fees are a lot lower. Now, they have an integration with eBay, and you set your store up, and once you sign up for like a basic store, and it's pretty cheap if you go look at their plans, you connect it to, it's called an API, Application Program Interface. It'll automatically connect to your store with a token, and anytime you put a postcard up on eBay, it will actually automatically put it also on HIP, and you can set it up where if it sells on HIP, it'll go back and tell eBay that the card sold and end the card and put the word sold in front of it in your end, so you know it's a HIP postcard. So it'll end the listing on eBay. But it works really well. I've not had a problem with it. The volume's not as high, but I do. I sell on Etsy and HIP. I probably sell more multiple orders than I do on eBay. So I've had some big orders on HIP in there, but I pay yearly for the highest store they got. Josh at HIP Postcard, I've talked to him. When you have the level store I have, they send out a newsletter. I had my address changed. They're real easy to work with. So I think it's a great little niche site that they're doing over there. So they do use PayPal. They don't have like managed payments. They don't have all the rules. There is a dispute form, you can do, but I don't have any problems at HIP on there. And my time to manage HIP is very low because it just takes care of itself. So, but the card we sold from HIP, and it's sold for $4.45, and it is going to Lockport, New York. Okay, so that's all the postcards we sold. 14 on eBay, 2 on Etsy, and 1 on HIP. That's our stack for today, and that's about $90 worth of postcards right there that'll be going in the mailbox here in a few minutes. So again, make sure you check out our other videos that we have. We have some postcard inventory, different things on postcards up there. If you're into action figures, we have those as well. We got some really cool things coming out. Hopefully we'll get those out in the next couple of weeks, just starting on postcards. It'll give you your postcard fix during the week until I do these longer videos on the weekends. So there'll be cool little videos that we're going to be doing, and we're setting those up now, and hopefully we'll get those scheduled and completed on there. Again, if you like our channel, hit the thumbs up, subscribe. It helps the channel, helps keep things rolling. And if there's anything you want me to do, I know I got some messages from people. They want me to talk about how I list the items. So I'm going to talk about using templates, how many I list a day, what is my goal, how many can I do a month, where do I want to go. People asked about that. I'll give you any feedback on eBay standard envelope when I hear things about that. And if you got any questions, leave them in the comments or send me an email to contact@ShelMarkSales.com, and I'll get you the answer. If I don't know, I'll let you know, and then maybe I can find someone that can. So thanks for watching, and we appreciate